Hey everybody, welcome to Vicious RV. My name's Josh RV Nerd here at my Coldwater, Michigan hometown superstore with something that's a fairly rare find. A half-ton towable, potentially, toy hauler. Most toy haulers are just so big and so heavy that a half-ton just isn't going to do the job. Now, a properly equipped half-ton should be able to handle this one. This is somewhere around 75 to 7,700 pounds fully max loaded, but it still has over 2,000 pounds of available cargo capacity, even in the heavier weight version, Black Label edition that we're looking at today. But this thing shines up and smecks appeals so nicely in the Black Label package. It's so much more than just fiberglass. On top of the standard base features, when you get it in the Black Label edition, we're getting the sleeker window package, obviously the very high gloss exterior, true gel coat package, but also things like solid surface kitchen counters and a bunch of other upgrades like some bathroom hardware improvements as well. It's more than just skin deep, including a little bit bigger tire package. So the Black Label edition kind of pairs very nicely with these little toy haulers. Now, technically, yeah, it's a ramp door on the back, so this is a toy hauler. I call this a crossover ramper camper, though, which is one of my stupid nerdism phrases, because it's not extra wide, it's not extra tall, like a true toy hauler. Like a Happy Jack bed lift just literally isn't possible in the back of this because you would concuss yourself every time you tried to walk under it because it would hang down too far. This is a conventional camper that just happens to have a ramp patio on the back of it, but that's what's so cool about this one. This floor plan specifically has been just as popular among people who have toys as those that don't. There's a lot of people who say, okay, I want a no-slide, convenient couples camper, but I want some extra space in it. And this one grants you a patio off the back of it. And now they're including that new MoonShade awning system from the factory over the back of this. So you literally have patio awning space and then rear deck patio space, which is very, very cool. So right from the entry door, if you walk in and turn your head to the left, which is what most folks do with this kind of floor plan, this is what you're going to see. They've moved away from the smart command system and just gone to like physical switch panels. And yeah, technically, being able to be outside and like turn the lights off on your phone or something could be handy, but very few folks are actually doing that. The fact is, though, this is something that, physical switches, they're hard to screw up. And let's say, God forbid, that awning switch goes ace-deuce. You can go to almost any RV parts store worth its weight, get an identical actual replacement for that, and get yourself back up and running without needing to schedule a service appointment for a frickin' firmware update or something stupid like that, I do want to point out also, they are using 15,000 BTU centralized air conditioners on this. The Cherokee Group, as far as I know, I think they were the first stick and tin brand to standardize that. And a lot of brands still have optional larger air. This is bigger AC factory standard, which is nice. They put a lot of lighting where you need it, like your main cabin lighting that kind of runs down the middle of the RV. You've got 1, 2, 3 lights right here. That's not terrible. But around the kitchen, holy crap, man, call the Batman. They load this sucker up with a lot of lights. So where you're actually doing prep work, you've actually got really nice lighting. There's also a couple easy to miss little details here. Like a lot of brands, when you have a window near a fire source, they are not able to use nice shades. They have to use the metallic mini blinds that a lot of people don't like, which means you are forced to have this little string that dangles down. Ironically, fire code requires them to have a string that could dangle down like a candle wick right into one of those. So they give us one of these little tie downs right here so that you can keep these strings up out of the way. And that's something, it's the smallest, stupidest thing. That's not the reason to buy this. It's just that there's 100 little things like that in this RV. One of the other cool benefits of this is, even though we're looking at one today with the fancy fiberglass, it is still, at its core, a stick-built camper. And that means they can put power outlets exactly where they belong and where you want them. So there's some really nice benefits to that. But this is kind of one of the cool things on this RV. It just has this mega dinette in the back over here. And this could be a 6-person seating area. So if you have, 4 big folks, you could sit around and play cards and enjoy a meal. If you've got a bunch of people, you could, play some board games or whatever, and everybody could have a good time. But it's one of the coolest things about this is how it's one seat fixture that can do so many different things in this camper. because not only can it convert into that one giganto mega sleeper lounge, it's roughly like 66 inches wide by nearly 8 foot long. So it can actually be the largest sleeping space in this camper if you want it. But you could use just one bench. Like, depending on what you're loading, you may not need to fold both benches up to get them out of the way. And these benches, it's just a very simple hinge that screws into the wall. If you wanted to remove one of these and add desk space or something, this is a very easily flex function customizable floor plan. Now, here's a quick little pro tip for you. Most of the crossover ramper campers, like the thing that we're standing in, they have these little buckle straps to hold the bed up, but notice how much slack there is in this one. If you twist the living crap out of it, you can keep the thing from hanging out so far and keep it sucked up a little bit closer to the wall, and it's just less in the way. It's more out of the way. It's just more easily used and function. Now, this is a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor decking, and there are, I think, 6 or 8 recessed D-ring tie downs in this. So if you are loading stuff into it, when we turn around the other direction, you'll have a better view of that stuff. You've got plenty of room to tie stuff down. Those are each about 2,500 pound rated, by the way. And considering this RV has less than 2,500 pounds of total available cargo capacity, in theory, you should never be able to overload these things unless you do something really, really wrong. Working our way over here, I'm going to circle back on this when we get outside. Because of the weather things today, I don't have the best opportunity to display it, but this RV has an awning included for the rear patio over here. That's what we're looking at right here. This is called the MoonShade. And essentially, it's almost like a tent top that you can put over your RV. It's a little windy out here, so, oh yeah, the camera's going to get eaten up by the wind. I don't have my noise canceling stuff on when I'm inside the campers, but you see those brackets sticking up? That's where that will hook up. This RV also has its own backup camera factory standard. There was a little QR code by the control panel by the door. That's where that hooks up. And then you'll see a couple of these in different places on the RV, a little flood loading light so you can see what you're doing in the evening hours. Now, you do also have a roll down tent screen wall. So when the patio's open, it's not necessarily just a welcome magnet for every single bug and gnat around the campsite. You can close that off, but it's not fully weather sealed. And there's no like 3 seasons door option available on this. The suppliers don't typically make doors, the 3 seasons doors that fit this size of a entry area. It's also, because this is a little bit smaller camper, that's one of the reasons like those Happy Jack power bed lifts, they're just not available here. Every time I release one of these videos, people ask that, and I don't think they necessarily realize that it's only 6.5 foot tall inside. And those Happy Jack beds stick down at least 9 inches. So it would leave you very little headroom and clearance in here to be able to walk under it. And even if somebody was okay with that, Cherokee just doesn't offer it. So even if you want, I do apologize, they don't offer it here. And if that's a deal breaker, that's fine. Let's figure that out now. Let's find an RV that actually does fit your needs, wants, and preferences, you know? Now, they don't normally do things like netting in their living areas, but because, ooh, I almost fell down. This is a, I stepped on the little transition between the ramp and the main floor, so I guess use caution there. But it is kind of a toy hauler. If you have helmets, that's a really good place to be able to keep those and to transport those things. Whipping our way around here, before I forget, this RV, if I don't point it out, somebody will miss it, because, you know, you're watching this to learn what it has, and I didn't state it. TV hookups, that's what we're looking at over here. So, you know, if I kneel down a little bit to kind of simulate sitting on the bench seat over here, it's not necessarily straight direct on viewing. I don't know that this is the kind of RV that people are going to buy to put a TV in and watch TV all day. I could be mistaken, but I have seen a number of Grey Wolf 22 RRs come in on trade over the years. I've never once seen one where somebody actually put a television in. So that's that. I'm using empirical evidence, essentially. Your converter fuse box, your battery disconnect, your solar monitor panel, all that stuff is right down here below the fridge. So it's very easy to access. Although, if you notice where the location of those tie downs are, if you have a tire right in front of that thing, because it's loaded and you need to get into it, that's a bit of a challenge. But this is a no-slide RV. So it's not like you wouldn't be able to unload something to get to the fuse box or shift and shimmy your load around. I think that that's more of a theoretical problem than an actual practical issue. I don't think it'll really stop anybody from enjoying the RV. And, you know, when you look at this, you don't look at this RV and think, wow, that's a great kitchen. It does not have the world's biggest countertop space, certainly. But your actual storage is not terrible. I've got the rear ramp door open and the wind is whipping. It's giving me a Casper the Friendly Ghost, hands-free assist today. Cherokee was also one of the very first stick and tin brands to standardize those 10 cubic foot 12-volt compressor fridges. And this year they've increased their overhead storage capacity, but that's because they got rid of a propane oven. Up here is where you used to locate your microwave oven. That's now located down below the countertop. Now, the countertop changes in the standard series. It'll be thermofoil. In Black Label Edition, we actually jumped to solid surface, so kind of keep that in mind. We're going to come back to the kitchen cookers. We're going to work our way kind of downward here. This is that, like, 5-piece, I think they're called smart sinks, you know, where you've got the veggie dish thing, the roll-away drying rack, the cutting board, the whack attacker in case the gas station murder hobo comes to get you. They did remove one of the 2 drawers because they turned it into a dedicated wastebasket space. Now, if you don't like that, you could always convert that back into just a conventional drawer and just move the wastebasket under the sink. That's up to you. But as I mentioned, this no longer has a propane oven. They have an electric oven, air fryer, convection microwave, all-in-one combo below the stovetop. So you have an electric oven down below, which will require either a generator or park power. Solar doesn't run anything technically, but solar won't be able to run that. You do have a 3-burner propane cooktop right there. This RV also has a gas grill hookup outside. So you do have propane cooking indoors and out. You just don't have a traditional propane oven. And real quick, I'm going to quit talking for a second, which is rare, I know. And that's with the rear ramp door closed. So it gets a lot quieter in here, a lot faster. It immediately drowns out that ambient noise. Working our way up to the bathroom space, we've got a straightforward conventional porcelain foot flush stool right here. There is really nice room around it, as you can kind of see over there. The one thing I'll say is this bathroom does not give us much, well, almost nothing in the way of linen space. I'm kind of curious on your take. I was kind of surprised to see they opted for the vessel style sink over here. I've always heard a bit of mixed feedback on those. So I don't know. I'm kind of wondering where the consumer mindset is in relation to that right now. Now, one of the things that Grey Wolf has done so nice for years is even if you don't get the Black Label package, all of your tandem axle Grey Wolf models will have the bigger XL, I call it Fajita Friday Fume Fight and Fart fan over here. They actually give us the nicer, bigger vent fan right from the factory. And it drives me nuts how many, quote, luxury fifth wheels and toy haulers, even they don't do that, and you're getting it here. Now, flip it around the other direction. The trick with this bathroom is that I can't give you a really good look at the shower hardware and everything from one way. On the left side, you can see the kind of headroom that I have in there. You can also hear the elbow room that I potentially lack inside of that shower. On the right side, you're looking at the upgraded bathroom hardware that you get with the Black Label edition, where you get the, it looks like the old school telephone wand sprayer that you can put up to your ear and blast your earwax out. Also with the square thing that'll poke me in the forehead when I bend over, and the belly blaster. But that's mostly just some kind of cosmetic looky-look sort of stuff. There's not a lot that really does in terms of enhancement function. It does look cool, though. As I might as well swing around back here into the bedroom space, one of the things that you gain, or not gain, but have, is you do have bedroom TV hookups off in that corner. Now, to be fair, that is a small wall for a TV. And if you look at where that square bracket's located, chances are you're pretty much going to need to replace that and put like a swing arm bracket over there if you want to actually install a TV into this thing. Most people, again, aren't going to be using a TV in this camper from my experience, but I could be totally wrong. You know, maybe you're like, yeah, but I'm going to, and I want it to work well. Okay, respect. I totally get it. That's why I take the time to point that out. Now, both sides of the bed have household and USB plugs. They accomplish it a little bit differently. You'll notice a very different style charger over on the other side. We also change to a more oh, what's the name of this? I suck with my residential home and garden television terms, guys. The more, you know, flat style, kind of simplified, minimalistic look that we have right here. It changes from the rest of the RV, and this year they've also changed their bedding. Previously, this was a 60 by 74 short queen. It is now a 66 wide by 74 long short Olympic queen. And I don't know how easy it is to get replacement mattresses for that. If you wanted a 60 by 80 or a 66 by 80 bed, you could do it. You are going to be tiptoe tapping around the bed. You're going to tiptoe through the garden like Tiny Tim, if you are familiar with that song. Easily one of the creepiest things they added into the Insidious franchise, which was a series of movies I didn't expect to like quite as much as I did. And right now, you either know what I'm talking about or you have no clue. I don't know. But anyway, you've got the full-length hanging wardrobe towers on both sides, and these are not strutted, so like I guess you could kind of clock them for that. But the fact is, they did fully enclose the storage above the bed, so you don't necessarily have to get totes or something. Like if you have a set of, I don't know, blue jeans or something up there, you don't have to fight with them so they're not constantly falling down in transit, you know. Over here, the bed, it does have storage below, but despite my best efforts, because it's not gas threaded, I was not able to keep it propped up and show you the storage. The thing is, I don't know that it necessarily matters, because you can access about 2/3 of it right off the side here, because they actually gave you these totes sort of acting like dresser drawers where you don't have to lift the bed to get to them. What do you think of that? Then just one last quick look back here. I know we've already kind of covered this area, but I closed up that ramp door, which you haven't really seen. And I mentioned how if you wanted to use the space in a couple different ways, you could. Even with the factory supplied table, you can basically use that like a desk. Like you see the household outlets over on the left side of the screen. You know, there's a lot of different ways you could use this one RV 5 or 6 different ways on 5 or 6 different trips and never have to actually modify from factory spec your camper. That's kind of cool. So when the video began, I described this as potentially half-ton towable. Let's quantify that a little bit. The weights and the measures that you're looking at over on the left side of the screen, those are the weights and measures for the standard tin skin version of this. Now, another little myth-busting thing that I can offer for you here is very often when people see fiberglass, they automatically assume aluminum framework and lamination, but the one does not necessarily go with the other. This is still a stick-built camper. So when you go to the Black Label Edition, it's converse to everything that you would normally think. You are actually adding weight. So this specific RV in Black Label Edition that we're looking at is 5,549 pounds, which left an available cargo capacity of 2,108 pounds. But that's not bad, considering even in the heavier version of this camper that we're looking at, it still has over 2,100 pounds of cargo. That's pretty good. I'm not unhappy with that whatsoever. Sometimes when a manufacturer offers that upgrade skin package, they the weights and measures get a little funky. Now, I've been trying to get it. People are like, why don't you record more toy haulers? This one's very popular. I've been trying. And this thing sat in stock for 1 day, and as you can see, it's already been spoken for. So I snuck out here real fast to try to get you some footage of this thing. In the meantime, let's kind of take a little bit of a look around here. When we walk over to the other side of the RV, you will notice that's where your water heater and everything is located. As a result, that means we don't have a true pass-through. Now, we do have a decent storage compartment. It's just not a true pass-through. They've done a little bit of improving on the solar package this year here. One of the things that's easy to miss is right on that charge controller, there's a USB plug. So if you want to have something like your phone charging out here with you, you can do that and not have to have it like in your pocket or leave it inside, which is actually very nice. This now has 2 100-watt solar panels standard from the factory, which is better than they were doing in the past. And the charge controller and the factory standard wiring can handle to about 400 to 450 watts of total solar. So if you want to expand on this a little bit, you can, but this is not intended to be the be-all, end-all of solar. It's not intended to be the be-all, end-all of heavy-duty weather packages or anything like that. If I'm going to just be a little nitpicky and gripey, I sort of wish that awning went a little further back to the back of the RV. It's okay. The awning space is okay. I just wish it was a little bit better. I think it's a Black Label Edition feature. The extra floodlight over the entry door right here is just kind of one of those nice little details. And as we work our way down, I want to point out the fact that right above that window, you see that black rectangle, that is your stovetop exhaust vent hood. So if you are cooking inside, it does bleed the heat outdoors. And we do have outside speakers over here, but they're down like at head level or lower. So I'm okay with that, you know. I like when the speakers are not going to be so high up they blow everybody away. Now, if I take a little bit of a knee over here, one of the things that you see is these have the ability to have power corner jacks applied to them. Also, I'm a little too far away. I'm sorry, I should have kneeled down a little closer. The underbelly's enclosed, and it has holding tank heat pads on every single holding tank factory standard. Now, that doesn't magically mean some kind of, quote, 4 seasons capacity, but basically, as long as the snowflakes aren't flying, you're going to be okay. And if the snowflakes do start flying unexpectedly, like the weather person gets it wrong and there's a cold dip overnight, you're going to be okay for an overnight cold snap as long as it comes back tomorrow. That's kind of what this camper's here for. It's also directly under the entry steps that fold out. That's where your gas grill hookup is located. So it does have an outdoor gas grill system that's fairly easy to miss, actually. So working our way around here, the tankless on-demand water heater right there under the bed, that is a 42,000 BTU variety. So if you're not sure why that matters, leave me a little kind of like, so what's the difference in the water heater BTUs? And I'll be happy to circle up with you, but I try to touch on different stuff in different videos. And this kind of stuff, this feels stupid and boring to talk about, but it's really useful, important features and content when you actually own the RV. Having a full hot-cold outside utility shower and black tank flush right over here. Well, not every RV still has that. And the convenience center light over here so you can see what you're doing, that's nice. The fact that this RV has a single sewer outlet is also a nice feature. And you might notice how it's, I think, a reasonable height above the ground. And part of that is because this has a little bit more aggressive tire package. When you go to the Black Label Edition, it essentially forces what was called the Adventure Package, part of which, like you see that, how it's got just a tiny strip, like a skirt of skirt metal at the bottom right below the fiberglass. That's part of the Adventure Package right there. The bigger tires are another part of that. It gives the whole RV a little bit better ground clearance. Right behind those tires, under the RV, by the way, is a stinky slinky sewer holder tube. So you do have a place to keep your hoses and everything. Now, because you have a rear ramp door, they couldn't put their ladder prep mount off the back of the RV. So they put it off the side. And some people, they get really weirded out by that. It's just fine. I don't know why when it's on the side of the RV, some folks get kind of like, I don't know about that. It works great. There's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, whipping our way around here, this was one of the first brands to actually standardize the ramp patio kit. Really before Grey Wolf started doing it. These patio kit systems were almost always optional from most builders and most manufacturers. And when they saw that a stick and tin builder could do it for a reasonable price tag, suddenly the fancy pants upgraded luxury brands decided, well, maybe we ought to do that too. And you're probably not aware of this because I'm using a wind canceling microphone cover and I have no hair anyway. Plus I'm wearing a hat that, like, you can't tell it. There's a lot of wind blowing right now. So I wasn't really able to set up that MoonShade system just because being alone, trying to set that up in the wind kind of sucks. But remember, this has basically its own awning that comes over the rear patio deck system now. And that's a request I've seen from people on so many RVs so long. And once again, we have a stick and tin builder doing some forward thinking, saying, yeah, not only can we do a ramp patio, one, we're going to make it standard, and two, we're going to give you an awning that frankly even a lot of luxury fifth wheels don't. A lot of luxury fifth wheels, they might have like that little power awning that comes out the back, but it opens maybe 2/3 of the way over the patio. This MoonShade system covers the whole darn thing. And once it's set up, it's actually pretty nice. One of the only hiccups in its giddy up, though, is this RV does not have any capacity for one of those 3 seasons patio doors. It's just not available on this whatsoever. And if that's a question you were going to ask and I proactively answered it, I don't know, maybe at least click the like button on the video and help, spread the distribution of this. But when, if it's nighttime, and it's getting chilly and you need to close the back door, you will need to take the MoonShade down. So during the daytime, it's awesome. And it's one of those things that once you get used to it, it's not terrible to set up. But your first time doing it, yeah, you're gonna be. It's gonna take a little time, but it's like setting up a pop-up. The first time you do it, it takes like half an hour. The next time it takes 15 minutes. The next time it takes 8 minutes. Like, it just becomes not a big deal after you do it a few times. Like setting up a tent that you use at the beach. The first time you do it, you practically get into an argument and get divorced. I think I've given enough examples. Don't you? And finally, it's a small thing over here, but one of the things that I do like about these is they don't use the cheap horse trailer style latches. They have these self-clasping cam locks right here. And basically what that means is when you flip this shut, when you push up on it, it grabs itself and it can't pop open. Now, it also has a key lock, so you don't have to get, a padlock that somebody with a set of bolt cutters could snap off real quick and easy and gain access to your RV. It's just, don't get me wrong, this thing's not a fortress. If somebody wants in this thing, they're going to get into it. That's just a fact. No RV is like, what do you do to burglar proof it? There's no burglar. It's like a rabbit proof fence. There is this rabbit wants to get past a fence. A rabbit's going to get past a fence. But it can keep an honest person honest, and I think that's about the most you could hope for. But look at the reflectivity on this. When you go with the Black Label Edition, it literally has like a mirror-like finish. You can see clearly the Rockwood and Freedom Express reflections coming off the fiberglass in that thing. Wow. And like almost any floor plan out there, there's other builders that make something like this. I think the closest approximation, the Wildwood and Salem FSX division has, I think it's called a 210, is pretty darn close to this. But they're all going to have some advantages and disadvantages. What I'm going to do in the meantime is look up some links to those things, but also leave you links in the video description to double check pricing and availability on one of these, whether you're curious or whether you're serious, whichever way works for you. In that one link, we'll show you if we have a standard series, a Black Label edition, anything in stock, and wherever we have it in stock, we'll have actual pricing listed right on our website for you. So you don't have to give us your blood type just to get a rough idea what one of these things is going to run, We try to make that convenient, and we don't do hidden fees. We don't add for like a go get ready camping prep freight package or whatever. We just don't do that stuff. So when you're ready, we're ready. And our goal is to make it simple, fun, and easy, because God forbid, camping is supposed to be a little bit of fun, God forbid we make that happen for you. So when you're ready, we'd love to meet you. And until then, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.